All right. Hey, everyone. I'm going to just talk for just a minute here about what we're trying to do and what the point of this call is. Welcome and welcome to those who are going to watch this later. Hopefully, my name is Nick, and I'm helping build out the community here. And it's really important to us. We're convinced that developers are heroes and that they're the ones who are kind of shaping the future. And so we want to build infrastructure to help developers in the StarkNet ecosystem make $1 million. Like that's what we want to do is make developers successful and set them up to grow and be successful. So that's kind of why we're here. So if Discord is the workspace for that, this call is kind of a working call where we can work together to solve each other's blockers or problems or make connections and chat later. So that's kind of the purpose of this call and why we're here. So thanks for taking the time. It's important not just for yourself, but for what we're building for the community here with Matchbox and for the StarkNet ecosystem, which we all believe in. So with that, most of you probably know Ben, but I'm going to let him introduce himself. And Ben, I'd love to hear about StarkNet ID, but also a little bit of what you're doing kind of in the ecosystem here. It would be cool if you'd share some of that with YouTube and the things you're doing. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, hey everyone, thank you for being here. So it's kind of a last minute invite, so I don't have any presentation for today, any slides or whatever, but it's not a problem, I will just start. So basically, I'm Ben, the co-founder of StarkNet ID and Imperium Wars. So what I'm trying to do in the ecosystem is basically building great stuff that I like, and especially in the gaming. I'm also working with you guys at Matchbox to try to help developers building that are building cool things and cool games on StarkNet. So today you said to me, Nick, that I could present StarkNet.id, but I think as we are in the Matchbox and we're talking mainly about games, I think I'll present Imperium Wars. So this is my second project. This is the project that I'm working on since like the beginning. It's like the project where I learned Cairo with, and I was still learning Cairo with the first Matchbox hackathon in July. So basically, what is Imperium Wars? I'll tell you where the ideas come from. The idea of Imperium comes from. So Imperium Wars is an on-chain game that is really inspired by Risk. Risk, the board game, the famous board game, and the basic thesis of this idea was that I'm not the best game developer. I'm not a game developer at all, and I think that a lot of cool ideas of the real world and also of the Web 2 world can be bring into Web 3 and can be successful. And we saw this with Sorare, which is a fantasy football game where there's a lot of synergies. There's a lot of things that they took from Web 2 games, especially FIFA, especially Football Manager, those kind of things. And I said to myself, what are the games that you liked in the real world or in the Web 2 world that can be bring to Web 3? And I said Risk could be one of them. Risk is very popular. Risk is international, so I thought it could be cool to bring Risk to Web 3. So this is basically where the ideas come from, where the ID come from, and so this is Imperium is an NFT based project where you'll have to own NFTs of troops in order to participate into wars. And to participate into wars, the only thing that you can do is to allocate troops to territories. And I'll show you the maps. As I don't have any presentation, what I can do is show you my local host to show you what I'm doing right now. So basically, explain the troops, the how it works, the empires, the art, the maps, gameplay, economy, etc. And I'm explaining everything there. But so basically, what it looks like for the moment is this. So this is a map where basically you will you will be able to allocate troops into certain territories. So, for example, if I click on China, there I have China, I have a little, I will have a little text about China, how China has impacted history and war history in the 19th century, etc., etc. And I will be able to click there and to allocate my NFT to this territory in order to win it, to earn it, see it as you want. As in Risk, you will have to allocate troops to territories to conquer territories. It's basically the same thing. The only difference with Risk is that here there's a true financial, a true economic system with crypto, of course, and the big difference is that there's different troops, and there's five, sorry, troops, kind of troops. There is infantry, cavalry, and artillery, commandant, and marshal. So every troops will have different impact on the game, and an empire, an allegiance to an empire, and each empire will have to fight each other in order to win the game at the end and win some heat. So I know it's kind of a mess. My explanation is kind of a mess for the moment, just because I didn't know I had to participate to this call 10 minutes ago. But tell me if you have any question, how it works, and how the contract will be, technical question or whatever. So you can just speak or do it on the chat. You tell me. I'm not sure how to chat in front of me.
Yeah,
Yes, I have
the
the
chat's
chat now.
working. I have a question while we're waiting. Hi Casey, thanks for dropping in. Uh, so like, this is where the game is at. What are your hopes for it long term, and then what are some of your next steps? Or do you have any like blockers right now with what your next steps are for this thing? Also, how does
Yeah,
it work with interacting? Like, what do you think it's going to cost to play gas wise?
yeah, yeah. Okay, cool questions. So for the moment, this is not finished at all. You see there that I have problem on the map. This is SVG problem just there on the west coast of United States, Brazil too. Here I have also a problem. This is small front-end SVG problem, easy to solve, but still problem that we need to solve. I need to add content there. If I click, for example, here, no territory attached. I have to work on that too. So I still have work to do on the front end part. But in terms of gas fees, of course, when you want to allocate from how I feel about it for the moment, if you want to allocate an NFT to a territory, you have to write something on the blockchain. From what I thought about it and what we discussed with Thomas Vermeer, you'll have to write something on the blockchain, so you'll have to pay some fees. We all know that what is expensive is writing on the blockchain. So as you'll have to change the storage variable, you'll have to pay some fees. But every technical aspect of it, especially on the contract, is not yet decided. We'll see, but yeah, you'll have to pay some fees, and it could even add strategy to the thing. I mean, its fees are higher. Maybe you should not like try to attack this territory or try to do this and that, etc. But we'll see. For the moment, this is not real the first part, but what are the next steps for me is basically finish this front end. I want it to be live and for people to test it in the next few weeks. And then attack the contract, which I already started it. The contract. And also, what is cool is to work with the artists that I'm working with. I'm trying to make my cards, my NFT cards, and there's a lot of Easter eggs that I want to add. I won't tell too much about it for the moment, but there's a lot of Easter eggs, and I'll show you the cards. You have some trouble with my Wi-Fi, that's no problem. I won't show you the cards for today, or maybe in the white paper. If you want to know more about the project, you can on the white paper there is some cards here. So you see here there's some cards with not high quality, but this is the French cavalry, this is the French infantry. So each infantry and empire have its own cards. So there will be four empires and five troop class. So this is basically 20 cards, 20 different cards that we have to work in, we have to make. Sorry. So this is big work. I'm trying to manage all and to manage starting that type also. And yeah, we step by step we're building the game. It's pretty cool for the moment, and I hope this map at least will be live soon for people to test it.
Awesome. Any questions, guys? This is quite the project. It's so cool. I can't wait. Like, what's your hope for it? And then I have a question about your YouTube channel before you go. So what's your hope for the
Okay.
game? In other words, a year from now, what does it look like? How many users? You know.
How many users I would say if possible. But a year from now, the goal would be to have a functional game that when I said functional goal, I mean that we tried it in production with real people, with real money, and we saw all the bugs and also all the things that are cheated, like are too strong. Maybe, for example, I'll share some my screen again, but for example, uh, right there, someone told me that Argentina is a territory that is too cheated, too strong, because it has only two links with Brazil and with Peru, but no links with other continents. So it's too easy to protect Argentina. So this is the kind of things that we'll have to think about to test in production to see if it's really too strong. Argentina cheated? Uh, so this is the dynamics that we want to test, the game design, etc. So I'm pretty excited to test everything. And so goal is that in 1 year everything is tested and we have a well balanced game, and it's an eternal game basically.
Awesome. Any other questions? Anything at all? I'm gonna leave an awkward pause here for a second.
Thank you, Nick. So as I told you, yeah, you tell me, Uni.
Maybe there's no questions. Just
There's a question,
oh, there is.
Uni. There's
Who?
yes, I can.
Uh,
Oh,
if
sorry.
Nick is not able to, so Ben, what do you think are use cases that Stargate ID can be used for? Um, I mean, in games and financial, and any other thing.
Okay, so for the moment,
Maybe talk about what
we
StarkNet
worked.
ID is, real quick.
Yeah, so currently StarkNet.id is a naming and an identity service for StarkNet, and what we're doing right now is trying to be the identity that all the games will use in order to represent their players. But that was the goal at the beginning. But maybe we're gonna change because maybe it's not like the right goal to have. So for the naming service side, this is a pretty easy goal. I mean, we know where we want to be the naming service of StarkNet on the naming service side. And on the other side, for StarkNet.id, we are exploring some things, some ideas that that we can do. For example, we know someone that built a GitHub bot that can give SBT, Soulbound token, to people that contribute with a pull request to specific repositories like Ethereum, Foundation repositories, etc. So this is the thing that could be cool to do with Starknet.id and to show after that on Starknet.id. Let me give you an example. If, for example, if you like a dev or a gamer, same thing, basically the same use case, a dev that made a pull request on Starknet React, for example, and the pull request is approved, you participate to Starknet React and will give you not a reward, but just a proof for other people that you participate on these repositories, and you can show to other people that you're really a member of Starknet in general because you are participating. Sorry, so difficult words. You're participating on the Starknet repositories, and on the Starknet.id you'll have the SBT that show this guy is a true dev because he's participating into Starknet development, specifically Starknet React. And we could do the same for games. For example, if someone wins 5 wars in Imperium Wars, I'll give him an SBT that can be shown on the Starknet.id, and while someone will just share his Starknet.id, he'll share his naming service, his naming, like Ben.Stark, Nick.Stark, Yoni.Stark, etc. But he'll also show all his achievements in the game's ecosystems. So if he won like 5 wars in Imperium, he'll show, hey, look at that, I'm Ben.Stark and I won 5 wars, or I also participated in the Starknet React repo, etc., etc. So it could be just a cool gallery where you can show all the things that you've done in the Starknet ecosystem by showing off NFTs and especially SBTs. This is just a thing that we explore, but currently we're really focused on the naming service part of it, because this is for us really important to build a social consensus around that. Is this a good response to you, Yoni, or do you have any questions?
Yeah, for sure. And this is an interesting direction. Like we are working on kind of a CTF challenge, like 0x Monaco, and would be interesting to have a baseball card for developers, like basically a place where people can see what games developers played. And, so that's
what you can use, for example, if for the next Starknet, for the next Matchbox hackathon, for the 10 first developers or teams, you can give them a badge that we can show on the Starknet.id, for example.
Cool.
I'm brainstorming, but this is the things that we thought about.
That's awesome.
And how it will look like, it will be a web page with a bunch of NFTs that is in the account or something else.
What we wanted to do is that the user, the owner of the Starknet.id, will be able to select what he wants to show or to not show. So if he has, I don't know, CryptoPunks, he doesn't want to show his CryptoPunks because maybe it shows that he is rich, but it doesn't show that he is skilled, for example. But he wants to show that he arrived first at the Matchbox hackathon. He might not be rich, but he's skilled because it's not an easy thing to do. So what we thought about is that he can show 3 or 4 SBTs that we selected. Like that, it's not main square. We're not main square showing all the NFTs that you have on your address. We're not Argent. We want you to show off the things that you are really proud of and that represent your Starknet identity.
Awesome.
And that can be like, let's say, a little resume about what you do in Starknet. So, for example, me, what what would I show off? I would say, okay, I participate to the first Matchbox Hackathon with Stocknet.id, I arrived 7th, and I would say, I don't know, I participate to the Encode Hackathon too, won an Empiric prize, and I would say, I'm the founder of ACAR, of of Imperium, sorry.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Any other questions? Cool. Well, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time. We got a lot of really interesting things coming up. The hackathon. Ben and I are planning some workshops and kind of a path through those workshops. There's a lot of really good things we're excited about. Yoni alluded to some CTF activity, and we're doing some planning around that. So I'm excited you're here. Thanks for prioritizing and making the time. And it's good to see your profile pics. And we'll see you guys on the next one.